Welcome into the Paul Farrington Show, our Week 15 reaction show. Paul joined by Jack Weinberger, Robert Ziggy Ziegler, and Zach Bloomquist, the best executive producer in the game. Jack, I'm just realizing now you're wearing I thought you hated Syracuse.
Well, it's just in honor of Kyle McCord going to the Cuse and making them a playoff contender. So
Okay.
I figured I'd show some respect to the boys up north.
I do have to ask, what is going on when a 12-1 Ohio State in the Heisman conversation quarterback enters the transfer portal and the best he can do is Stanford or Syracuse? What is the world come to?
I mean, the Cuse, they're ACC champs next year. No doubt in my mind. They could be a playoff team.
The home of Tommy DeVito.
They have the second best quarterback in the ACC.
He could be. They could have the best.
No, Preston Stone is better.
Look, I've not looked ahead to my 2023, 2024 quarterbacks for the ACC.
You got McCord. You got Tommy. He just got murdered today. Saw that coming from a mile away.
Moment of silence for the New York Jets for our former co-host Andrew. His team officially eliminated from the playoffs today.
You know what else was funny that I want to bring up? We got a text in our chat today from our good buddy Mike, and he goes, "Well, guys, good season for the Giants. It's officially over. Good stuff. Good season." I'm like, Mike, your season's been done since like week 3.
It's really funny.
I was laughing at that. Like, what do you mean?
Giants and Jets fans, you got to give them credit because it's in some way it's admirable watching them find little pockets of hope throughout the year. When we sat here on this show and when Rodgers went down, we went, "Oh, season's over." When the Giants the entire year, we've said, "Nope, season is over."
It's like this guy DeVito comes in, has like a couple decent games. We can make the playoffs now. And
it was fun. It was like I found it enjoyable.
You lose by 30 again. It's good season, guys. Good season. We had a chance. Good season. You didn't have a chance. You were out week 4.
No, here's the thing about the Giants is you look this year, they have been everyone's rebound game, right? The Dolphins get blown out by the Bills. Go beat the Giants. The Bills are having a tough start of the season. Go beat the Giants. The Cowboys lose to the Eagles. The next week, they go blow out the Giants. Like every time the Saints are having a slide of the century, right after that loss to the Lions and Falcons, go and beat the Giants. So like realistically, every single time a team's coming off a bad week and plays the Giants, they win.
They win, yeah.
It's been a tough season.
This was a tough spot for Tommy though. On the road, Saints a good defense.
Saints are a very good defense, and in New Orleans is a tough place to play.
Felt like they were kind of desperate for a win. New Orleans, this was tough. I saw Saints blowout coming from a mile away.
It's actually it's absurd that we're leading with this now, but the Saints Bucs race is actually kind of fun towards the end here. I don't think either team is good enough to make some noise down in the playoffs, but as far as a divisional race goes, both of them are okay teams. And when they're playing well, like the Saints defense, it's pretty good.
I mean, I think the Saints would have a better chance than the Bucs would. We saw what happened when the Bucs went up against Philly. That would be their first round opponent. I don't see how Tampa would be able to beat them, although you never know.
I mean, the Saints quarterback situation is tough, though.
Yeah. I would take Baker over the Saints situation.
There's a big group of quarterbacks who in the NFC where it's, are you going to get good or bad? Like Jared Goff, good or bad Goff, good or bad Baker, good or bad Derek Carr. Like all those teams, when the quarterback's on, they have enough skill players, they have enough talented guys that they can make some noise and probably at least frighten some of the better teams, but they have to be playing elite football to win those games.
We haven't gotten Derek Carr on this season, right? There's almost been a mutiny in New Orleans to get him benched because everyone hates him.
It just stinks the South champ will be that 4 seed who plays the NFC East runner-up in the first round.
Yeah, but they don't deserve. The NFC South does not deserve to have anything less than that this year. None of them should be in the playoffs.
I totally agree.
If anything, it's crazy for the Eagles and Cowboys that they're going to have to go on the road at like 12-5, probably 13-4.
It's like when Tebow beat the Steelers, 8-8 versus 12-4, same thing. But a team like New Orleans in the dome, when it's loud, when their defense is playing well, you have a shot against anybody. I wouldn't pick them, but I would take them more so than I would take Tampa Bay against one of those two.
So if you were Philly or Dallas, you would rather go to Tampa.
I think I'd rather go to Tampa. I think it's a lesser home field advantage. New Orleans could be a tough place to play. And Philly went into Tampa and mauled them this year.
Yeah.
Like, I don't see what's really going to change.
So the Lions. Lions went into Tampa and mauled them.
The fact is a playoff game changes it. I don't think so.
Well, this could have been an even tighter division race with the Atlanta Falcons, but they had far and away their most humiliating loss of the season
They're
today,
horrible.
losing
We've said it.
6-9.
Sorry,
Like,
Sebastian.
they're really bad.
We have a good friend, Sebastian, who listens to the show, big Falcons fan. I hope that they get a quarterback this offseason, bring someone in, maybe Justin Fields. We'll talk about that in the offseason.
I hope that they fire Arthur Smith, man. Like this.
What is going on there? I'm a Bijan fantasy owner playing against Zach this week. We have a huge playoff game, and I'm like refreshing my phone watching the game. Like, is Bijan? He's not even on the field. They're running Cordero Patterson. Cordero's what, 34 years old right now? And Bijan's lead blocking Cordero into the end zone. Did he sleep with Arthur Smith's wife or something? Like, what is going on?
I thought
that got him in the doghouse.
I thought Cordero retired like 3 years ago, to be honest with you.
He's actually still pretty good, but
But before the game of Bijan, there was a Make-A-Wish kid on the sidelines, like playing catch with him. And Bijan had more receptions during that game of catch than he's had all season. Like, it's as if Arthur Smith just delights in refusing. Like, he uses Kyle Pitts as a decoy so Jonnu Smith can get touchdowns. He delights in using inferior players just to piss people off. And it's so bizarre. Like, he's got to go. He can go back to being the president of FedEx, which is the job he will get if he's kicked out.
Before you say what you're going to say, don't say it.
Maybe
Don't
Arthur
say it.
Smith hammered all the Bijan unders before the season started.
I have to imagine that's not what you expected.
No, that's
him
not
to
what I
say.
expected him to say.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that you were going to stop me, that's not what you thought I was going to say at all.
No. I thought you were going to say something else. I thought you were saying he's smart because he's using worse players.
But no, Zach's just going to say it.
Yeah, he's
That's going to say it
now.
Yeah. Maybe he hammered all the unders. Under the rushing, under receiving.
I've gotten in arguments too with Falcons haters who say, yeah, it doesn't matter. The Bijan's overrated, Drake London's overrated, just going on and on and on about all of the, why Atlanta shouldn't actually be a good football team. But when you use these guys, Kyle Pitts is good. And Drake London had 172 yards the other day. These are not bad players.
I mean, it was also a monsoon.
No, it was
in Carolina.
Yeah, no, but
you don't use
a
Bijan.
torrential downpour.
How many carries did he have?
So here are the numbers for this game.
No,
Bijan Robinson, Drake London, Kyle Pitts, 12 touches. Tyler Algier, Cordero Patterson, Jonnu Smith, 21 touches. Like, I don't care if it's a downpour. It's not as though they're not getting the ball to guys. They're getting it to Cordero and Jonnu over Drake London, Bijan, and Kyle Pitts.
Am I missing something? Because someone in the comments or one of you guys, did something happen? Is there a big story on why Bijan isn't? I know he fumbled. Maybe he's in the doghouse for fumbling later.
Every single week, reporters ask Arthur Smith, and he says, "There's nothing going on. I'm just doing what I think is best for the offense." And then he gets really mad that people ask him. He says, "I don't care about your fantasy teams. All I care about is running an effective offense."
It just makes no sense to draft a guy 8th overall at a position and not put him on the field.
But also look at what Detroit's doing with Jahmyr Gibbs. At least he's getting touches. Like Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery is also really good. Like David Montgomery is better than Tyler Algier.
Yeah, but Gibbs touches the ball a fair amount.
Gibbs gets a nice handful of touches. They find creative ways to get him involved. Bijan feels like he's just sitting there, wasting his time.
It's puzzling.
Yeah, that's weird. I can't believe we opened with Saints Falcons
let's move on
this show.
Let's move on.
Well, I can't believe we're staying in the NFC South to lead the show, but we're going to go to the Bucs-Packers game over at Lambeau Field. Baker Mayfield, Tampa Bay, 34-20 win over the Packers here. And it feels like Green Bay all season long has kind of been edging this show. Oh, my God.
Oh, you can't make that motion. What are you doing? So, we keep freezing and having the show, have to start over. And Paul has just gotten more vulgar every time.
I'm sorry. I'm really sorry about
He
that.
actually-
10 seconds till we freeze.
I'm really sorry about that.
10 seconds till we freeze.
It feels like the Packers early in the season get off to this hot start, and we get this influx of Packers fans who are coming in and enjoying the show, and it feels like you're right about to be on the verge of a breakout, and then they start losing.
AKA.
All right. And then later on, they're on this playoff push here, and right when they're about to, take over the wild card spots and really become serious contenders potentially, you lose to the Bucs, and you lose to the Giants and Tommy DeVito. And it's just what's the deal with this Green Bay team? And I'm looking at what's happening in New Orleans this week, where they sacked Tommy DeVito 7 times. He was sacked 15 times in his other 2 games, and Green Bay couldn't get after him a single time on that Monday Night Football game. Jordan Love played well. He's 29 for 39, 284 yards and 2 touchdowns. Jordan Love had a good game. The offense, even though they only put up 20, for the most part played good football. This defense has just been getting destroyed time and time again. And Baker Mayfield was 300 and 400 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, but that's why I took him to the NFC Southpaw. I said Baker Mayfield's turning back the clock, going back to his 2019 ways. Was that the year 2019 to beat the Steelers? Somewhere around there. But the lone bright spot here for Green Bay, obviously, game we didn't want to lose, but it's the fact that Jordan Love looked pretty decent and played a good game, and he wasn't the reason that Green Bay lost this game. But from the team as a whole, from this standpoint, I said this last week on our reaction show. You beat Kansas City, big win. You go on the road to MetLife, and it's a bit of a hangover spot, young quarterback, whatever, okay. But now you want to come home when you're in a playoff race, and you want to bounce back. That's super important. Even Houston today, without Stroud off a tough loss, they bounced back and found a way on the road to win the game. Teams like this, they want to bounce back. You're at home, and you lose by double digits. I mean, that really was terrible. I mean, Baker looked like Tom Brady today.
If you watch this game, there were only 2 outcomes for a given Buccaneers set of downs. Either the Packers got a sack or the Buccaneers got a first down. That just happened every single set. And you can't play like that because even though the Packers, they did get a few sacks, they did better than they did against the Giants. If you are consistently giving up first downs every time the team doesn't make a play, you're done. I know the secondary's hurt. I know they had a couple guys out. But David Moore should not be carving up any NFL secondary. It just shouldn't happen.
I actually thought he might have been short. I know you can't call it back because it was too close, but I thought he might have been short on that touchdown when Green Bay stripped him at the goal line.
He might have been,
really
but that's
close.
not the point. That's just not. Even if they strip it there, they probably still lose the game.
Probably.
Because they couldn't stop Baker Mayfield.
I mean, these Bucs have had these offensive outbursts a few times this year. Like
that's why I think they're scarier than New Orleans.
Yeah, like they went in and they not mauled, but put up a lot of points against Houston. They lost the game, but scored 37 points. Mm-hmm. Now today in Green Bay and last week in Atlanta, high-scoring game, and they beat them there. Like Baker's playing well.
No, he is playing well, and they have a lot of weapons too on that team.
Yeah.
When White's playing well too, like all of a sudden that Buccaneers team, it's a matter of can they get some stops. That their passing defense is horrible. We said that.
Like with the way Jordan Love played today in a home game, in an important game, I would have thought Green Bay was going to win. And Baker comes in and plays 3 times better.
Well, Green Bay dropped from being in the wild card spot to 11th. They're behind Atlanta. They're behind Seattle at the moment. They're behind the Rams at the moment. We still have to see the outcomes of those games. All of the opportunities still out in front of them to get into the wild card spot, but you start looking ahead saying, okay, like they have to beat Carolina next week. You really have to go and beat the Panthers, who I guess are coming off a win, so maybe
there's no chance they win 2 in a row.
And then that big game though, that New Year's Eve game against Minnesota, the one that I can't wait for, would be great to knock out the Packers ourselves. But that's the game really to circle. I think whoever wins that game will probably wind up being a wild card team. Although who knows with the way these wild card races, everyone's losing. No one is
so many
control.
good. There's so many good wild card race games on New Year's Eve. You got Dolphins, Ravens, Saint Bucks, Bengals, Chiefs, Packers, Vikings. Seems like every single team that's jostling for playoff position is going to be playing an important game that day. So that's going to be fun. So
would you guys say here, because I think Packers fans would be upset if we didn't talk about it, but Joe Barry, their defensive coordinator, has been, it's almost like Matt Canada at this point, where Steelers fans were chanting for Matt Canada to be gone. Packers fans want Joe Barry out of there. Does this feel to some degree like it could be the nail in the coffin on him? Like he can't be coming back next season, right?
The thing about Joe Barry, I agree he's probably not coming back. And the thing is he's really insistent on running that Vic Fangio style defense, right? Where you've got a lot of cornerbacks, you play relatively soft, light coverage and count on your guys to make plays. It's not a bad defensive system, but we've seen it across the NFL this year. If you are going to run that system, you need consistently excellent secondary play. And the Packers don't have it. So your job as defensive coordinator when things aren't working is to find a way to fit the personnel you've got. Mm-hmm. And he just has not been able to do that. And it's not like the defense is playing okay, but not great. Every aspect, the run defense, the secondary, the quarterback sacks, none of it's come out well. I just don't understand how you could keep someone around like that. It doesn't make sense to fire him now, right? It's near the end of the season. You're not getting someone better. You're not installing a new system. But I fully expect that with the offense playing well and LaFleur having earned some credibility, Barry's gone.
Yeah, I think so too. And I'm just looking at the Packers' schedule recently, and you have seen how the offense has improved. Remember again the Chiefs game, everyone was saying they hadn't seen a team perform that well against the Chiefs defense all season. Like, that's just showing over the course of this year, Jordan Love has taken these steps forward, really working with an offense that has been pretty banged up. No Christian Watson again today. Finally got Aaron Jones back, who participated in a big way, at least on the opening drive there. I remember watching that thinking they're sure glad to have him back. But in the game, in a game like this, you just can't get lit up for 404 by Baker and with the playoffs on the line.
I mean, every time Baker watching this game, every time he was dropping back to throw the ball, I'm like, this is going to be caught. Like, someone's going to be wide open. And that was the case.
Every drive, you just knew they were going down the field and scoring.
Yeah, somebody was going to be wide open, yards after catch. It was horrendous.
Yeah, it's a tough spot for Packers fans who, again, a really weird season for Green Bay where you've just had this up and down play.
Like, you go and beat Kansas City as a 6-point dog at home, and you're like, wait a minute,
we have the Giants, the Bucs, the Panthers, the Vikings, and the Bears.
You're like, we're going to the playoffs.
You're saying we might win the division.
Yeah, well, I didn't say you said that.
No. Some people are at that
Would
point.
they just beaten the Lions? The Lions were starting to slip. Like, it looked, if not likely, possible.
And now here you are, the 11 seed in the NFC, still, to some degree controlling your destiny here.
But they could slip behind the Bears. Would it shock anyone if they finished last in the division, only one game down on Chicago? Or one game up, excuse me.
Yeah, probably not.
It's because they're a talented team. It's just a matter of showing up at the right time. The Ziggy, you had something you want to say about the Bears, right?
Yeah,
the losers.
Bringing up the Bears there, I will mention this. What an absolute disaster for Chicago, right? The fact is, believe it or not, this will sound strange to people who weren't paying attention, but the Bears were somehow in the playoff race. At 5-8, that's not great, but 6-8, you'd be tied with the Packers. You'd be right in that spot. And everything that you could want to happen if you're the Bears this week happened, right? The Packers lost. The Giants lost. Like, everyone was losing around the NFL. Yeah, the Vikings lost. I'm trying to think who else lost. But like all the teams you're competing with in that spot. Yeah, like all of these teams were losing. The Falcons lost. And somehow you aren't able to beat a team that's missing absolutely everyone. Right, the Browns didn't have their quarter of the salary cap guy, and they weren't able to get it done. It's just a huge missed opportunity, right? If you're looking and your two teams you're racing for in the wild card spot in your division lose, plus the Falcons, you've got to be able to do something, and they just weren't able to.
And you're up 10 in the...
Yeah, 17-7 in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
To be fair, also, the Bears' offense was not good today. The only reason they scored is because of two big turnovers. One of them was a pick six. But still, 17-7. The way Joe Flacco had been playing all day, you got to come away with the win there.
And Cleveland's a tough place to play. Like, you're up by 10 on the road anyway, anyhow. You find yourself in that position. You got to hold on to that.
It's unfortunate that, really the only bright spot for the Bears this season, or not this season, but over the past few years, Darnell Mooney, him and Jalen Johnson, the two players Bears fans have been excited to watch, in two different ways, totally blew this game. First, by showing an unbelievable lack of effort on a 4th-and-1 scramble. And second, did you see the Hail Mary, Paul?
I haven't seen the Hail Mary yet. But
so here's what was funny about the Hail Mary. He got two hands on the ball and was bringing it down. And while he brought it down, he's going on his back. His foot just comes up and kicks the ball straight out of his hands. He just literally punts the game into the end zone for the Bears. And they lose. But if he had just brought that ball down or blocked on that 4th-and-1, they win. So you can watch this. It's hilarious.
Oh,
wow. He had the Hail Mary, right? Those plays you don't get that far very often. So it's incredibly disappointing.
He had the ball in his ball in his hands.
No, I mean it. You watch it. He literally punts the ball out.
Oh, that's tough. That's tough. I mean, it's a tough catch to make, but
tough for me. I had Justin Fields. That's a 50-yard bomb.
What also is disappointing for the Bears is
it's like 8 points right there.
It is.
Despite I know we said the Falcons losing was good for them getting into a playoff spot, but the Falcons lost to the Panthers, who if they had lost, I believe Chicago would have locked up the number 1 overall pick in the draft for the Panthers lost today. And now Arizona and the Patriots, and there's a couple teams now in the race there for the number 1 pick Carolina should still secure it for Chicago.
Yeah, Carolina loses out. They're the number one pick, right?
Yeah, Carolina should still be able to get them that pick. But just when you look at from top to bottom, this opportunity to get into the playoff race. And the Bears are playing good. Their defense has been awesome the past few weeks. The Fields has been better too. When you come into today and you say, okay, here, like the roadmap is wide open now. We win this game, we're somehow, some way in contention. And we're still going to get the number one pick. And for all of it to just kind of flip, a disappointing day for Weston Dell and the Bears fans.
Didn't you also look, too? It's like this team just went and mopped the Lions, who looked like world beaters last night. And now if they could have won this game, Bears fans are probably sitting back like, wait a minute, we are playing pretty good football at the right time right now.
Yeah.
But if the Bears had won every single game that they had a 10-point lead in the fourth quarter, they would be 8-7 right now.
Wow.
They've lost 3 games with double-digit leads into the fourth quarter.
They were also up by, 30 against the Broncos way back when, too, and they blew that?
They blew that. They blew the Detroit game. I'm trying to see what other game.
In Detroit. Yeah, right, in Detroit.
What other game did they blow, Ziggy?
I'm trying to think.
Can't find it here.
I don't know.
I mean, Cleveland. That was like the Cleveland might be the other one.
That's
three.
right. Yeah,
there's 3.
There's
the 8
yeah.
ones. Yeah. There we go. Wow. Yeah. Think about those 3 games too.
And that's what the current 6th seed right now. They're 8-7?
Oh my gosh, you'd be the 6th seed, and you wouldn't even really. But you could make this. You can make these up for most teams. Like
no, just about no. There is no
10 wins.
No team in NFL history has lost as many games in the leading by double digits in the fourth quarter as this year's Bears. This is not any team could say things like this. You don't lose games with double digit leads in the fourth quarter. It shouldn't happen.
Hey, how about the Titans today? A win with Case Keenum at quarterback, no CJ Stroud, and you go and beat
the Texans.
Who did I say? Titans?
You said the Titans. Yeah, the Titans lost. Sorry. Texans won.
I'm so sorry. The Texans. Yes, the Texans with the win today. You know, we root for the Texans on this podcast to a degree.
It's kind of tough seeing the Titans. We root for them too.
I know.
They commented on our TikTok.
Titans
for
are
God's
nice
sake.
to us.
I mean, it's tough.
Titans are nice to us, but the
They've
Texans
been eliminated from the playoffs.
The Titans.
Oh,
yeah.
Sorry, Titans.
But the Texans fans have to be pretty pumped up to be able to sneak. I thought most of the game it looked like they were screwed, and then late you have this comeback with Keenum, and you're still right there. You're the 8 seed right now behind the Colts, the Bengals, and the Browns. Sorry, my Vikings couldn't help you out there with that Bengals loss, but I'm not sure I'm as confident in Houston as I was a couple weeks ago when they were rolling on all cylinders. It's been a little shaky the past few weeks, and it certainly didn't help to see the Dolphins go and beat the crap out of the Jets, knowing that Houston just kind of got dominated by that same exact team or the similar team. But here it is. It's laid out in front of you. Who's in front? The Browns and the Colts? Well, you play both of them over your next 3 weeks. You really can't ask for much more. If I handed most Texans fans a piece of paper at the start of the season and said, you will play at home against the Browns and at Indianapolis for a playoff chance, every single Texans fan would sign that piece of paper.
Yeah, I had Houston at 3-14 to start the year.
Yeah, it's not impossible the Texans win 11 games. They could realistically, they've got 3 very winnable games. They could finish 11-6.
Yeah, they're at 8-6 right now.
Yeah,
and they're playing Joe Flacco, Will Levis again, and Gardner Minshew. The Colts look good, though.
Colts are good.
Colts are playing well.
The Colts are playing good football, yeah.
Yeah, but Gardner Minshew always falls off.
He does seem to.
It's not nuts to think that there's crazier things in the world that have happened than Houston winning a game in Indianapolis. That'll be what, a pick 'em?
The right now the AFC wildcard teams, the quarterbacks are Flacco, Jake Browning, Gardner Minshew, with Stroud / Case Keenum at the moment, Josh Allen, Kenny Pickett, Russell Wilson on the outside looking in.
No, it's Mitch right now.
Mitch, sorry, Mitch.
That's why we're 7-7, not 10-3.
And anything could happen in the AFC South, right? Assuming the Jaguars lose to the Ravens tonight, there will be 3 8-6 teams in this division. Anything could happen.
This is such a good win. If Houston, they were getting crushed in this game. If they had lost this game, the win comes out of their sails probably a little bit. I know Stroud didn't play, but now you win. Stroud's coming back next week. I don't see a guy of his caliber, at least how good he's been so far this year. I don't see him really not bouncing back after an abysmal game against the Jets.
You have to hope he does, but the Browns defense, you also see different Browns defenses in Cleveland versus outside of Cleveland.
It is, but this game's in Houston.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think that Stroud comes out and plays well next week. I mean, every game was a must-win for them.
Yeah. And a lot of guys could get healthier, right? You look at this game: Will Anderson, Nico Collins, C.J. Stroud, George Fant, Jimmy Ward, Chris Boyd, like so many important players out. And they were still able to gut out a win with just a good next man up mentality, right? It was Noah Brown played a huge role in this game. Devin Singletary did good. But if you're able to get things done with guys like Steven Nelson and Noah Brown playing huge roles, you can absolutely win if guys just get a little bit healthier.
Yeah, you have to be so encouraged to be able to pull. It has to feel for Texans fans like one of those, wow, I can't believe we got away with this.
Yeah, on the
road. But now here we go, like let's win this thing. Zach, you guys lost to that Titans team at home, up 14 in the fourth quarter.
No way you just brought that up, right? No way. After we beat a team by 30,
you see that bounce back? You see that bounce back?
I'm just saying.
We just beat the number 3 probably defense
Swarm,
in the league.
baby, swarm. Texans fans
as Ziggy likes to
feeling
put
good.
It, as Ziggy likes to put it, we shut out an NFL team. You can't do that very often, as Ziggy likes to say.
A professional team. Did they cross midfield? I don't know if they did.
I don't know if they crossed
midfield. I don't think they did.
To be fair, you did not shut out a professional quarterback.
We shut out Zach.
But I would say D'Amico Ryan's coach of the year has to be a lock now, right? After winning this game.
Coach of the year? Who's the favorite right now?
It's got to be.
After this week, it will be D'Amico Ryan's. I guarantee. It's like that or Dan Campbell has been the leader for a while, but I don't know. Look at the end of season trajectory, right? The Lions, everyone's starting to doubt them. Admittedly, they put up a pretty nice game against Denver.
Yesterday. I think that if the Texans finish over 500, like if they go 9-8, then yeah. Under 500, I probably would say no.
Like usually coach of the year is an outperforming preseason expectations kind of award. And here's something that's just true. The Texans have outperformed preseason expectations better than any other team in the NFL. No question about it.
Yeah, Sean Payton was in there too until Denver got
like by chance that Houston finishes 0-3 and goes 8-9, I don't think he gets it. But if they finish 9-8, 10-7, I don't see
if they get in, he should win.
Like how do you not give it to him if they're 10-7? Right? Like that's
you probably have to.
That's 6 games over their win total.
I don't know. Even if you have a losing record, I mean, they were supposed to not win a game this year.
No, we sat here and we said it was them and the Cardinals going at it for the number 1
I
pick.
still don't think with a losing record I'd give him coach of the year.
All right, we're going to wrap up the show by talking about some of the Saturday games, and it's a sad Saturday of football for this show right here. Watching the Viking game, I was down in Tampa, Florida this weekend, visiting our good friend Weston Dell, Bears fan, hanging out with our other friends, Caroline, Maggie. Happy birthday, Maggie. Shout out, Maggie. Happy birthday. She's a big Bengals fan, and I bet her a tequila shot on the game. So midway through the third quarter, and guys, listen, the night before.
Well, you guys covered those. She should owe you.
Maybe she should, but there was. So we had a tequila shot for her birthday the night out before on Friday night. Biggest tequila shot I've ever had. Took me 3 gulps to finish. I was like, this is disgusting. I can't do this anymore. Bet the shot the following day because I'm confident in my team. And at 17-3, you would think that the Vikings can close out Jake Browning and the Bengals with Jamar Chase all banged up. My dad texts me, he might have jinxed it. He texts me late third quarter, Flores may be the greatest defensive coach ever. Seriously, not joking. Right after that, 3 straight touchdown drives for the Bengals. And we find ourselves in overtime in Cincinnati out of nowhere. It was just one of those games where I'm watching it. And we'll get to the overtime calls in a second. But I'm watching the end of that game. And out of nowhere, someone tweeted, he goes, Cincinnati receivers are just making absurd plays, out of thin air. It was they were dead in the water. Vikings defense hadn't allowed a touchdown in 13 quarters. And next thing you know, T. Higgins is jumping over people. Like, I don't understand how it's just at the end of the game, there was also a 3rd and 4 play. And Vikings fans, let me know if you remember this. There's a 3rd and 4 play on their game-winning drive where we had guys like 10 yards off. And Browning like threw a pump fake because the play was supposed to be deep, I think. And then he realized, wait a second, they're giving us the first down. Checked it down. And, they wind up scoring going to overtime here. But what everyone's talking about, because Dave Portnoy tweeted about it. Everyone's talking about the 3rd and inches, 4th and inches, where we had the most pathetic attempt at a tush push you'll ever see. And people are upset. I know my dad's upset that we didn't give the ball to Ty Chandler, who had a great game. But right after we got stuffed on the first one, which you should be able to get an inch in the NFL on a tush push. I don't care who it is.
Yeah, it's 2 QB sneaks.
It's 2 QB sneaks.
3rd and like half
you should get an inch.
That's crazy.
After they got stuffed the first time, I looked over at everyone I was with, and I just said, "You go for it. Yeah, do the exact same thing. If you can't get an inch on 2 sneaks, you deserve to lose the game."
Yeah.
And sure enough, the Vikings find a way to get stuffed twice in a row. But did you have a problem with that play call? Because people are destroying O'Connell, and for that call alone, I wasn't too upset.
No, I think the proper move there is a quarterback sneak. I mean, you have to get it. You're like,
you have to get it.
It's third down, and you're this far from getting a first down. I mean, just push the dude and fall forward. No, the play call was correct. Just the execution was just abysmal. I don't know how you don't pick it up.
Yeah,
most teams do.
Everyone does.
Everyone does. Yeah. No, I'd rather that than handing the ball off behind the line of scrimmage and risk getting
maybe on
stuffed
third
there.
down. Maybe on third down you give it to Chandler, but you got to think they were 5 for 5 on fourth down conversions this year. They said
you literally have to fall. You have to fall forward an inch. Like that's better than handing the ball off behind the line. There's a better chance you get stuffed doing that than a quarterback sneak. I don't know how you didn't pick that up.
Yeah, I mean, look, on quarterback sneaks, when there's less than a yard to go, NFL teams convert that about 85% of the time.
I'm surprised it's not higher.
You cannot be mad at the guy for calling the high probability play, because 85% also means 15% of the time they don't. The thing that was just so frustrating as a Vikings fan watching this game, I hate when people say things like the other team just wanted it more, right? Because this is the NFL. Everyone wants to win. But Paul, didn't you feel like on that T. Higgins touchdown, on that Joe Mixon third effort touchdown, on the Vikings QB sneaks, like these guys just weren't playing like they wanted to win? The Bengals players were getting physical. They competed. They constantly moved the ball forward.
I don't know if it was I'm not going to call out the effort of the guys, because I think at the end of the day, Mixon made a great play. Pace is a smaller linebacker. It just was so many things had to go wrong for Minnesota to lose. It was Pace getting beat on the head-on collision with Mixon. Higgins, I don't understand. It's the second time this year now that we've lost a game on a jump ball where our cornerback just kind of watches it and waits for Higgins or Cortland Sutton to catch it and then try swiping. And it's like, what are we doing in these late game scenarios?
This Saturday, 10 days before Christmas now, is a bit of a tradition. The Vikings will be in a game where
phenomenal Saturday game.
Yeah, they're either blowing somebody out or getting blown out.
But this game was over. This game was over.
Oh yeah, it was. You were blowing them out.
And then we had to listen to Jake Browning in the press conference, and I have no issues with Jake Browning. It's a really cool ride that he's on right now.
Played a very good second half.
He played fine. He just was launching the ball up, and people were coming down with him.
That throw to Boyd at the end of the game was a very good throw.
The throw to Boyd was good, but I mean, this should not be completed.
I thought it was a
good throw.
I mean, yeah,
the Higgins one, so that should be picked off.
No, Higgins was also a good throw.
It wasn't. He was off his back foot running.
Yeah, Higgins came down with it. He has a tall, lanky receiver, throw it in his area. He comes down with it.
Ziggy knows.
Yeah,
Ziggy
that T. Higgins play probably earned T. Higgins $10 million this offseason.
The catch was one of the best catches I've ever seen, but I mean, Browning, you put
such
it up
Vikings
there.
bullshit too, to have Higgins falling out of bounds, be able to extend it over the goal line.
That was unbelievable.
It was crazy. It was crazy. And there's just so many different things that happen. You go, only the Vikings, only the Vikings, only the Vikings. And I tell you what, I'm so tired. I'm so sick and tired of having people text me, so sorry, man, on these national TV games. And I'm like, yeah, I know. It's horrible.
I mean, well, they're not sorry.
I saw it coming. I saw it coming a million miles away. A million miles away, you could see the end coming. And every time it happens, I just don't.
I'm just so sad, man. You look at the games we've lost, like the Bengals overtime, the Broncos by 1.
Chargers. Chiefs.
Yeah. Are you telling me
Bucs.
if we have Kirk Cousins is on this team, the Vikings currently have 11 wins. If we have Kirk the whole season.
If we have Kirk,
are you telling me Kirk's not good for 2 points against the Broncos or 3 points against the Bengals?
No, we'd win the division if we had Kirk.
That's unfortunate. Yeah.
But it's part of the game. It's last thing, and then we'll move off this. Nick Mullins next week. Do you want him starting, Ziggy?
I don't know, man. I just
we have a musical chairs.
I put John
I'm so crushed, Paul. I don't care who plays quarterback. This team's cursed. It's over. But I don't know. If Nick Mullins tossed that interception, it was so bad.
It was bad.
I can't send that guy
I think
out.
Mullins should 100% be the quarterback.
Ty Chandler was awesome.
Chandler was great. And you know what? All season long, Vikings fans have known that. Everyone said it.
That big dude on the Bengals, big nose tackle, goes down early, and the Vikings took advantage of that.
Yeah, Chandler had 132 yards and a touchdown. But Mullins...
Do you know why Madison is still starting over Chandler?
No, it doesn't really make sense. I don't mind Madison coming in and getting some touches, but Chandler should get the majority of the reps.
I think he's awesome.
But last thing is that I thought Mullins did... he throws the ball better than Dobbs, and I know that he had made a couple big mistakes. The interception from the D tackle was just ridiculous. Like, just take the sack. But I thought that he put us in a better position to win than Dobbs would have. He had 303 yards. Like, he played well. He just had a couple big mistakes. And at the end of the day, he did lead us on the touchdown drive. I have no idea how Addison caught that. It's just when the defense lost 21 points in the fourth quarter to Jake Browning and the Bengals without Jamar Chase playing, you kind of, what's going on here?
I mean, look, when the Brownies are sitting in the Burrow box at home on a Saturday, like, they weren't going to lose. They were never going to lose that game.
No, the Brownings don't have that effect.
That's why I hit the Bengals plus 700 live.
What was your reaction What was your reaction to the Steelers dilemma on Saturday? I didn't catch that entire game, but I saw you get up early, and I was like, hey, you know what? Look at Pittsburgh here. And then next thing you know, it's 30-13.
Yeah, I knew this game was over when we were up 13-0.
Only time you picked against Pittsburgh this year.
I had the Colts plus 320 live, and I'll show you the slip.
When did you text Steelers Super Bowl?
When we wrote 13-0, but I think it
you did text that.
I think it auto-corrected. I meant to say we suck, but I guess instead of going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So it was 13-0, but you understand, like, we get held 3-and-out right off the bat. The Colts march down the field, miss a field goal, so we get a short field, score a touchdown. Then we block a punt for a touchdown. I'm like, you know what? Like, we're not going to win this game. We can't move the ball. Like, we stink. The Colts are playing well. They're looking good. They just a missed opportunity so far. And I hit the Colts plus 320 live. Then they march right down the field. Minshew was looking awesome. Mitch is throwing picks, doing what he does. And the Colts, another missed opportunity. It was like 4th and 1, and they dropped a wide open touchdown. Like, you knew the whole time the Colts were so much better than us, and there was no way it was going to be close. So I thought the Colts at 3-1, down 13-0 was such good value. Playing at home, much better team. Like, Minshew's good, Mitch is not. I mean, I wasn't shocked.
You must be in a dark place, man, to bet against your own team
I said
in the middle of a playoff chase.
I said this was lock of the year, did I not? On the previous show.
You did. You did.
You did.
This should have been 40-7. Like, it was 30-13, but it should have been worse. Like, the Colts looked really good. We looked really bad.
God, this show is
well,
falling apart.
you know, the good news, guys, is if you do want to prove that you, in fact, made this live bet, there is a way you can do it and share it with your friends.
Yeah, there is. Go on Sharps.
Yeah, go check out Sharps, and you could see. I don't know if Jack put it on Sharps. I don't know if you have the. I don't know if you have the willingness to
I
put
didn't
out
put it on Sharps.
an anti-Steelers bet on Sharps. But yeah.
But you could tell the whole time, like, even when we were up, the Colts were the better team. Like, you could tell there was no way on earth we were going to win that game. Mitch Trubisky cannot win professional football games right now. He can't. He's just so bad.
I don't know. What do you want to do? What do you want to do about it?
And put in Mason Rudolph. And Gardner Minshew is good. He's a good quarterback. The Colts are a better team. They were playing at home. We had no chance.
Sorry, you had to watch that.
I don't really care.
Well, you know, I will say
numb.
for this.
We're numb.
Like, you know what
We're
stinks?
numb
Like,
on the show.
like, if Kenny Pickett didn't get hurt, I do actually believe we're probably 10-3.
Yeah, but he's pretty bad too, Jack.
No. He's not this bad.
Oh, no, he's not
He is not this bad. Kenny Pickett wins those 2 games against New England and the Cardinals. Mitch can't.
It's tough for the Steelers because there was so much excitement when Matt Canada was gone with that 400-yard game. The floodgates had sort of opened. People were saying that Eddie Faulkner was going to be the next big thing.
We beat Browning.
Yeah, I think the shine has like largely worn off on that because the offense has not
Browning.
been good.
But then
Like,
we
but
also,
Come on, man.
No. But
Browning was shut out for 3 quarters.
do you realize that Kenny Pickett looked amazing against Arizona before he got hurt? Like, we had a lead against Arizona, and he looked awesome, and then he went down.
Yeah.
I'm just it is tough that the offense has not been as good as people wanted. I get that like Mitch Trubisky's not very good, but Kenny Pickett isn't all that much better.
No, I think he is all that much better than Mitch Trubisky.
When Clint Kubiak comes in to run your offense next year, then we'll be able to see.
Like, I think Mitch, like, here's crap. Here's Pickett below crap, and here's Trubisky.
This is the same guy that was begging for Mitch to start week 3.
Oh, yeah, I was wrong.
Yeah.
I was horribly wrong. Mitch is we're not going to beat the Bengals next week either, or the Seahawks or the Ravens. It's over. Like, Mitch can't play quarterback in the NFL.
It's so hard to be a fan, man.
And I'll go
every year you get excited for this, and then every single season.
I would have picked us with Pickett.
Single season.
You saw Mitch though. 2 horrible interceptions. One off his back foot. I don't even know.
I told you this in September.
Yeah, I'm seeing it now.
Yeah, I saw it with the Bears.
That's why I picked the Colts.
Last thing we'll talk about here before we wrap up the Lions. We owe an apology to Tom Monroe, our big Lions fan friend, and the other Lions fans that we we started mocking last week after a couple embarrassing performances. They came out and absolutely smoked the Broncos. 42-17. Denver was hot. Denver has been playing really well. Part of that, we said, was that they were having turnovers at a rate we did not expect them to keep up. And at the end of the day, when the Broncos don't force 4 or 5 different turnovers, you know what? They lose football games. And in this case, you got good Jared Goff. And that's really what it comes down to for me, looking at the Lions going into this final month of the season, final 3 weeks here. We have seen bad Jared Goff. And bad Jared Goff is really bad. The Lions team is not good enough around him to win football games when he is off. But when he's on, good Jared Goff makes the Lions a legitimate Super Bowl contender. So it's really just a question of which man walks in the building on a particular Sunday afternoon for Detroit to be a Super Bowl contender or a first-round exit, potentially, in the playoffs this year.
I was watching this game, and I was reverting back to one thing I brought up on the last show, and then what Ziggy said today about the Bengals and the Vikings and seeming to just want to win this game more. I said last week how the Broncos had a very big win on the road against Detroit. They blew them out as an underdog, I believe. And they're in the thick of the playoffs. But the Lions, a good football team, awful loss to the Bears. They're trying to hang on to the division. And of course, Denver's going to want to come out and want to win a football game in a playoff race. I'm not saying they're not. But Detroit wanted this 1 million times more than Denver did.
No, you could see it.
They came out like it was like a must-win situation. Like they had to win this game. And they were full throttle start to finish. They were like madmen. Denver had no chance from the opening kickoff in this game. They were in a bad. It was a rough spot.
This was kind of a must-win in a certain way, right? Because if they lose this game, suddenly winning the division starts to be in question, right? You've got 2 games left against the Vikings. You can lose those and you're in trouble. Now the Lions just have to win 1 more game and the division's completely locked up. Even if they lose all 3, there's still a decent chance they win the division because the Vikings lost and the Packers lost and the Bears lost. So it's a good time to be a Lions fan. Things have gotten back into place for them. And now they just need to finish the season all right and get ready to host a playoff game.
Yeah, it was a really impressive bounce back performance.
And this is the total opposite of what I said about Green Bay. Like Green Bay when lost to the Giants, I'm like, okay, how do you come home? How do you bounce back? And they got murdered again. Detroit, tough loss on the road. It happens. You don't want to see it, but it happens. How do you come home on a Saturday night and respond? And they did what teams who want to play in the Super Bowl do, and absolutely wax a decent football team.
And all their best 4 skill position players all played like legit stars.
They looked awesome all around.
Gibbs looks great. Montgomery looks awesome. Amon-Ra had a huge bounce back from the Chicago game the week before. Laporta only had 5 catches, but 3 touchdowns out of those 5. Like all those guys, when they're rolling, that offense is really tough to stop. And it felt like a Dan Campbell-led effort this week where I'm sure in the locker room he punched a wall or something. Something crazy happened in that locker room. But yeah, this Alliance team now, it's like you're bouncing back and forth on them. If you're a wild card team, you're like, oh God, now we have to go to Detroit and play these guys. We'll see what happens in Minnesota. They could lock up the division next week, though.
I mean, Sam Laporta, he just has to start dating Olivia Rodrigo, and everyone will recognize he's the best tight end in the NFL.
Dude, don't.
It's that simple.
Like that on this show.
Well, that's Paul's girl.
Yeah.
No, your girl, Paul. Which one of us went to Olivia Rodrigo's high school?
That's
not
true.
you.
That's
not
true.
you.
That's true.
But Ziggy, who's closer right now to this O-Rod poster? Is it you or Paul?
All right, you got me there.
Gotta give it
you
up.
got me there. You got me there.
Yeah, so Laporta's closing in on being one of the best tight ends in the league.
I mean, as a rookie, he's leading the NFL in touchdowns for a tight end. He's like third or fourth in yards. He's so good.
Yeah, it was impressive. The Detroit defense had been so bad. I think they allowed 26 points or more for 5 or 6 straight weeks. And Denver had been playing well. They really bottled up Wilson.
Detroit was great. I mean, I blinked my eyes. It was 35-10.
But they've done that a couple times this year. Like they get out to these when they're rolling. Remember against Green Bay in Lambeau? All of a sudden, you blink your eyes. It's like a multi-score game. Like that, 24-3, I think. Same thing with the Saints, 21-0 in 7-8 minutes. There aren't a lot of teams capable of just turning it on offense and basically being unstoppable. But Detroit is. The concern with them is that they also have this other switch where it can be really ugly, who's going to show up. I think that this is a great sign that they can close the year now. Well, I can't wait to watch them play Dallas. I'm excited for that one.
You said it though, like good Goff, because you have the run game, you're big up front, you have that. If Jared Goff has the weapons, if he's good, which he's obviously capable of being, they're tough to beat.
Goff or Goof? Which one are you going to get?
Yeah, exactly. Goff or Goof. When you get Goof, they suck.
When you get Goof, anyone can beat these guys.
They're amazing.
Okay, Zach is giving us the sign to wrap up the show here, and we listen to our executive producer.
Man, he calls the shots.
Yeah, he calls the shots. So we thank you guys for tuning into the Week 15 reaction show. We'll be back maybe with a bit more Week 15 reaction and the Week 16 predictions later this week. If you have any questions, any comments, you can leave them here in the description, or you can go onto our Twitter page, our Instagram page, wherever you want. Check it out, and submit some questions for the show. We'd love to answer anything. Could be honestly about anything.
Yeah. No, literally.
We'll see you guys soon.